urge to pick up your phone the second you put it down? Well, according to doctors, that's a chemical reaction in your brain. Dopamine is being triggered. It's pleasurable, and you want more of it. That's what leads to addiction. And doctors say that dopamine dependency is doing some damage, particularly.
Do you remember when Instagram used to use a chronological feed rather than an algorithm feed? If you don't know what algorithm or chronological means, a chronological feed used to be a feed where people would post pictures, and when you would log on, you would be able to see it in order on who posted first versus who posted last. Now, in an algorithm feed, everything is curated to your personal preference. So everything is targeted to you, everything is tailored to you. Now, why is this a problem? This is a problem because now you're just being constantly targeted and constantly being fed things that you like. And if you look at the Instagram Explore feed, you're getting thousands of videos that are captured for your personal preference. I don't know about you, but whenever I log on to Instagram, I get so overwhelmed because obviously everything is curated to my taste. So I'm looking at multiple pictures and multiple reels that are all trying to capture my attention, and all it's doing is just frying my brain and overstimulating me. Now, in today's society, your attention span is the most valuable thing. It's the most valuable to all these corporations. It's the most valuable thing to an author. It's the most valuable thing to someone who's writing an article. Your attention, your focus, your time means more eyes on them, which means more money in their pockets, more subscriptions. It means more memberships. It means more subscribers, more likes. It means whatever it is that they want, they are getting it because you're giving them your time. This means that you are losing out on a life for yourself. If you're constantly doom scrolling online, you are losing out on a life for yourself because you're losing out on being able to create memories, spend time with loved ones, or just build the life that you've always wanted to live. And when you are logging on and you're logging on for multiple hours in a day, you are creating such a problem with your attention, and it's no wonder you have a hard time focusing on your goals. It's no wonder you have a hard time focusing on a singular project because you're doing the one thing that is actually causing all of these problems. But the thing is that we weren't always this way. It wasn't always just like this. And in today's video, we are going to talk about how the internet destroyed our attention span and what comes next. If you guys are new here, my name is Geraldi. If you are new here, then I make videos all about discipline, goal setting, and productivity. So if that's the type of content you love to consume, then please don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
Growing up, I used to watch this show called Sesame Street. The thing about Sesame Street is when you're watching TV as a kid, Sesame Street gives you a story over 30 minutes. So my attention span was 30 minutes. But now if you look at things like apps, what we notice is that first there were blogs, and in order to engage with blogs, you had to read 3 pages, and that has now turned into Twitter, 160 characters. We started with YouTube, right, where people used to make 20-minute videos. Now we have TikTok, which is like 60 seconds or less. As the pace of technology is getting quicker, our brain no longer needs to pay attention for extended periods of time.
So how did we get here? The rise of attention economy. The technology has advanced completely compared to just 20 years ago. It has become faster, smarter, and much more resourceful in today's world. However, because these things are constantly being overloaded on the internet, it has become seemingly difficult to keep track of every single new release, every single new update, every single new piece of news or articles or content being uploaded on the internet, because we are just getting bombarded with new things all the time. And social media has now turned from being something that could be useful to now these dopamine casinos. We are constantly scrolling, trying to find the next jackpot. And the jackpot means something new or something funny or something meaningful or something that relates to us, something that makes us feel validated. We are constantly looking for this next jackpot, and if you've already found it, then you're gonna keep scrolling to see if you can find it again. That is what has got us hooked onto social media. It's that dopamine, it's that fear of missing out, that you might be missing out on the next funniest thing, on the next funniest video, on the next validating video. Online, there's a guy that tends to pop up on my For You page where he kind of makes fun of like the pyramid that was on Dance Moms, where it's like, what was the most iconic thing that happened that week?
We're good. I'm waiting for you to be great. And next, Kendall. You didn't stick out to me. Next is Brooke. Next, Nia. You're third on the pyramid. You were third overall high score.
And it's always something new, always something grand, always something big. And there's about 6 iconic big things that happen on the internet on a weekly basis. So, and whenever I watch those videos, more than half of those things I don't even see, because there's so much going on. Everyone's For You page is always a little different. There's always a niche. There's always some drama that's going on that you may not have stumbled upon. There's always something happening in the pop culture, or just simply in your hand knitting niche. There's something always going on, and it becomes so overstimulating. And the thing is that this is entertaining, right? When a news breaks out of some drama, it's fun, it's exciting, it feels like you're in on something, this feels validating. And when that moment passes and a new wave comes in of something new happening, whether it's 3 days later or a week later, you get that same feeling every single time. So it's no wonder we have such a problem with just logging off, because we want to keep that momentum going. We want to keep that feeling going of that you're in on something that maybe someone else may not be in on, or you're in on a joke, or you're just entertained from the joke. So social media wasn't meant to become this dopamine casino. It wasn't meant to be like this. It was a chance to exchange information and help people communicate with each other more easily. And you may be thinking, but Geraldi, like, those niche little drama stuff is a community. It is bringing people together. Yes and no. It's bringing people together, and it's in the wrong ways, because you're only there for the drama, you're only there for the negativity, but you're not actually there helping one another. You're not actually there exchanging the information and giving each other tips. It's more of like, what was the drama, and once it's done, you exit. And then you're searching for that next high again. Where did it all go wrong? How did it go from the internet being introduced as this way to find information faster, to get the resources that you need quicker, and get stuff done a lot more faster than versus 20 years ago? Where did it all go wrong? We were first introduced to this chronological feed on Instagram back around 2010. And this is not to single out Instagram whatsoever. It's just an example, because it was just so, it made news. It caused so much controversy when we did go from chronological order to an algorithm or feed. And I just remember it so vividly. So back in around 2010, when Instagram was first launched, it was launched with this chronological order feed. So it is just a single homepage, like I said, where whoever you followed and whoever posted pictures or videos, well, at that point there were no videos, it was just pure pictures. Whenever someone posted a picture online, you were able to see it of like, okay, the most recent person was obviously who just posted would obviously always be at the front, versus when you go further down your homepage, when you would scroll down, it would become who posted earlier that hour, who posted earlier that week, who posted earlier that month. And then I remember too, as I would scroll, you would get to the bottom of the people that you follow, and then it would say like, oh, you're all caught up. And then you would be able to be like, okay, cool, like I've caught up on my friends, let me log off and let me go do something else. Now, with this algorithm change, so Instagram, again, was used to help people connect. It was a way to express yourself online. It was a way to just show up online and show off like what you're doing. The people that follow you just to keep up with you is a way to just keep up with other people. It was just another communication exchange. So once Instagram saw that Facebook was, because back in 2004 Facebook was actually the first one to have an algorithm feed. In 2016 Instagram decided to implement that chronological feed, that algorithm feed. So we went from being able to see all the people that you followed, be able to see all of their posts, to now logging on and the people that you follow, the posts that they would upload would get just lost in the abyss. So you would log on into Instagram, and instead of seeing, let's say you were following Amy, let's say you have a friend named Amy from high school that you follow on Instagram. So from before, you would be able to see all of Amy's posts, but in an algorithm feed, when you would log on, the first thing that you would see was something that you wouldn't see Amy's post anymore. It would just get lost it would get lost in your homepage, because what Instagram had done was turned from a way to communicate with others and a free service to you, to now becoming a business platform where all they want now is to take your money and to take your attention. It would show that if you're interacting with, let's say, cat videos or cat pictures, when you would log on into Instagram, that would be the first thing that you would see. It would be cat videos and cat pictures, and it would target you to have you stay on their app, because the longer that you stay on their app, the more ads that they can push in front of you, the more ads you would end up clicking, and curiosity would get to you, and maybe you're an impulsive person and that's who they're trying to get. They're trying to get someone who's impulsive so that they can buy the stuff that they have online so they can get a cut from it. It was all for corporation greed. Obviously this has stayed on Instagram. I don't log on to Instagram as much as I used to, because it's just so overwhelming. I still have it on my app in case I want to look somebody up and just see what they're doing, but I only log on for that one singular person if I get curious on somebody, and then I just immediately log off, because again, it's just so overwhelming now. You have Instagram stories, and you have the home page, and now you have the explore page, and then you have reels on there as well, which we'll talk about short form content in a bit. But there's so much to do now on Instagram versus a couple years ago, where you would just log on, catch up on your friend's post, and then be able to log off. Now you have all these things to do on Instagram, and it feels like a never-ending to-do list. And then that's when we get caught up in that doom scrolling. There was a study done a long time ago where they wanted to see what was the average attention span on somebody. So they did a study where they would have someone sit on a computer, and I believe it was just like a typing situation, and then they would time somebody to see how long they would stay on task before they got distracted and moved on to another one, whether it was like checking their email or something. So they would do a stopwatch to see how long someone would stay on task. Now in 2004, the average attention span was about 2.5 minutes. As time went on, our attention span obviously got less and less. So in 2012, they did the same study, and our attention span went to 75 seconds. And in recent years, okay, this was like maybe about 5-6 years ago, they did the same study again, and they saw that our attention span was now 47 seconds. And can you only imagine what in today's world, if we were to do the same study again, what our attention span would look like? So what do you mean that we went from 2.5 minutes to now only having the attention span of 30 seconds, because again, that's the golden number that they always give us, that if you can capture your audience's attention in 30 seconds, then you've done your job. Everyone's attention span is low these days. Can you imagine that? Going from 2 minutes and a half, being able to stay on task for about 2 minutes and a half, to now being able to now only having the attention span of 30 seconds. What can you possibly learn in 30 seconds? This is what's bombarding us right now. This is why the world is being set up the way that it is, because our attention span is just decreasing by a lot. So the less our attention span is, the faster this algorithm is going to learn, the faster these corporations are going to learn, and the faster they're going to pick up on, okay, we have less time to capture these people's attention, let's just throw and throw and throw and throw and throw. And it's just learning this new wave of the generation's attention span, and it's only going to keep getting worse, because if our attention span ends up being 15 seconds, then the corporations are gonna have to accommodate to that attention span, and the more they're gonna want to throw at you. So it's only gonna get worse over time. But how did we end up here? Why are our brains just so fried? And in 2013, a generation came to love this new app that hit the market called Vine. Now, we loved Vine because it was just super catchy, it was super fast paced, and the jokes just hit immediately.
Hey, bro. What? Oh my God!
So what Vine was these 6 seconds little video. It's what we now call short form content, but back then we didn't know what that was. We just knew that it was just funny, catchy, and fast paced. Like it wouldn't take you 5 minutes to get an intro going. It was just fast, quick, and easy. And people loved it because the videos were really funny, and you wouldn't have to sit with a video for a really long time to get it. It would just be quick and witty. So it became this micro dopamine hit. Every 6 seconds it was a new funny video. It became addicting. So because of Vine, the short form content was born. And we started seeing more short form content on other social media apps. For example, Snapchat had its 10-second disappearing videos. Musical.ly, which obviously became TikTok, had these 15-second lip syncing videos. And during the pandemic, Instagram and YouTube ended up launching their version of short form content, which ended up being shorts and reels. At this point in time, during the pandemic, we started being fed. We were being fed content after content after content, because filming long form content obviously takes a while. It takes a while to film, it takes a while to edit, and then it takes a while to upload. But these short form contents were only 6 seconds, and you would be able to post multiple videos online, and multiple people can film a 6-second video. People can spare a 10 seconds to film something really funny and post it online. So we were being fed so much content online, because it was all throughout our social media apps. You either had Snapchat, you had Instagram, you had YouTube, and you had Vine at the time, that were just feeding you new content. However, short form content is like the fast food drive-through. It's gonna be high in calorie and low in nutrition. It's not going to teach you anything. It's not going to make any sort of impact on your life, and if anything, it's just going to further destroy your ability to critically think, because you're not sitting there with someone and doing a deep dive on something. You're just being fed topics and facts and flashy new edits every 6 seconds, and once you're done with the video, your brain can't process what you just learned, and then the next thing you know, it's time to scroll. So all of these fast pacing videos are just 6 seconds of micro dopamine hits. And all we were doing is we're overloading our brain with information that it can't process. It can't process what you're learning in 6 seconds. It can't, when every new thing that you're watching is something new. It's something funny, it's something entertaining, it can't possibly process all of this new stuff happening every 6 seconds. Because by the time you even think about processing what you're watching, you've already scrolled to the next thing. And you're overloading, overstimulating your brain. Your brain can't process everything new at once. It's completely destroying your attention baseline, because when you're being shown 50 new things in less than 10 minutes, you're just bombarding your brain with things that it just can't process. This amount of switching is costing your attention span. Have you ever sat down to watch a Netflix show and you just end up picking up your phone and start doom scrolling, and the next thing you know, you get like a text message, and then you end up like replying to that text message, and then you go back to scrolling? That is a lot for your brain to break down, okay? Because every single time that you switch from a new activity, your brain has to readjust itself to what it's doing. So if you were sitting down watching a Netflix video, then all your brain has to think about was, oh yeah, we're watching this, we're just consuming this. But if you're consuming what you're hearing in the background, and then on the top of that, you're doom scrolling and you're just overstimulating your brain every 6 seconds of a new video, and then on top of that, you're getting text messages coming through and you're replying to those text messages, and then you're going back to those videos and processing all of that. That's so much happening in a mere of 5 minutes. That is a lot for your brain. It's overstimulating your brain. It cannot multitask that quickly, that fast, and every time you do that, all you're doing is you're causing your brain mental fatigue. And the more mentally fatigued and exhausted you feel, the more you're going to want to sit there and continue doing what you're doing. You're causing a problem and you're not fixing the problem. You think you have a problem. You think that you're like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. Like, I just got to sit here longer. The more I want to sit down, the more that I want to lay down. But little do you know that what you're doing, which is scrolling and text messaging and multitasking, is what's causing all of that mental exhaustion. If you were to actually put your phone down, you would actually be able to relax and gain that energy back to be able to get up and go do something. Because of this, there was a rise of brain rot culture. So what is brain rot, right? What is brain rotting? Brain rot is a slang word to describe mental fatigue from consuming too much low quality, unchallenging content, aka dumb shit you found online.
What was that? Okay, James.
That's what it means. Dumb shit you found online is going to be funny because it's stupid. It's going to be entertaining because it's stupid. It's not going to be thought-provoking whatsoever because it's stupid. It's stupid shit you found online, and that's what brain rot is. It doesn't actually mean that you're rotting your brain, but you are destroying your attention span because all you're doing is just watching dumb shit. You're not challenging yourself in any way. You're not creating some sort of like thought process here. It's just, you're just processing dumb shit that you found online. And it's not adding any real value to your life whatsoever. So brain rot material is quick, flashy images, loud noises, and repetition. These type of edits are becoming more and more popular as people's attention spans become worse and worse. Think of content like CoComelon, right? CoComelon is known for its like really flashy cuts, super fast, and that's just destroying, right there is already destroying a generation's attention span. There's destroying babies' attention span because all you're getting is just flashy cuts. When I ever watched CoComelon, and it was a very, very like, it wasn't a very long time I watched it. as soon as I, like, every 3 seconds there was a new scene, I was like, nope, I'm cutting this shit. None of my kids watched Cocomelon. I refuse to put Cocomelon because I don't like what it does to my brain. Therefore, I can only imagine what it's going to do to my kid's brain. And you may be thinking, oh, but this type of content is so harmless, Geraldine. Like, it's nothing bad can come from this. But it absolutely can. It can translate into the real world, because whatever verbiage that they're using, you end up using it in real life. Maybe their body language, the body language that you see online, maybe you end up translating that into the real world. And is that going to make you sound smarter? Is that going to make you look more elegant, more like you know what you're doing? Can you imagine going into an interview and using slang words that you found in a brain rot video? What can this possibly teach you? Absolutely nothing. So it's very damaging for your reputation. You want to watch videos that are going to teach you new words, that are going to teach you new tricks and tips for real life, not this dumb shit that you found online that adds absolutely no value to you, and it's only going to cause you to feel mentally exhausted and mentally fatigued. Now, another phenomenon that happened because of this brain rotting videos is now that we are bed rotting. Bed rotting is essentially another slang word to describe someone who just lays in bed all day long watching these brain rotting videos. I've done this before. I'm more than sure you've probably done this before, where you just lay in bed for an endless amount of hours just scrolling online and bed rotting. This culture caught on fast because it allowed people to escape their realities, cure boredom, and give a temporary break from anxiety. But is this actually curing all these things, or are we just putting a band-aid over a wound? And again, bed rotting and brain rotting is causing us so much more damage than you can ever imagine. It's almost feeling like it's going to be irreversible if we don't do something about it now. So you may be thinking, but Geraldine, bed rotting is harmless, brain rotting is harmless, like I'm just so exhausted from work and I just want to lay in bed all day. Well, before you make that assumption that it's very harmless, let me tell you about the things that you are losing out because of this. So for this new generation, we are losing out on critical thinking skills. With these quick hit contents, we lose our ability to analyze, question, or create our own judgment on topics. We're constantly jumping from one distraction to the next. This new generation, I've watched countless of videos of teachers talking about how their high schoolers are not able to decode text, how they're losing out on their ability to read and to comprehend what they're reading. And this is going to be a huge problem once these kids go into the workforce, because just imagine you have a kid who has trouble decoding, who has trouble having reading comprehension skills. They go into the workforce and they receive an email, and they're spending so much more time trying to read this text and trying to understand what this email means, and you're going to have a problem with, and then not only that, but their attention span. Like, just imagine they're having trouble reading this, they have trouble with staying on task, and then they have trouble comprehending what you're saying. Like, this is going to cause so much miscommunication within the workforce, and it's just going to make us struggle so much more because these kids lack the foundational skills of just reading and writing. What we're losing is our ability to stay on task. We are constantly having new content to look at, new news to watch. At every second of every day, we lose the ability to have a discussion on one singular topic because there's multiple things just happening all at once. Again, referring back to that pyramid, the most popular pop culture content that happened that week. We're losing out on our ability to discuss one singular thing because there's so much going on all at once. I watched the Just Trish podcast, and they talk about multiple hot topics, and I'm like, yes, they have a discussion between each hot topic, but down in the comments below, it's not just one singular like hot topic. It's multiple people talking about multiple things. So it's a lot of switching of like, oh, this person was talking about this activity, this person was talking about this topic, this person was talking about this topic, and it's not just one singular deep dive on one singular topic. Like, there's so many things going on all at once. And the funny thing is too, is that they upload videos twice a week, meaning that there is so much to talk about in 1 week on pop culture in general. That's not even talking about the news that's happening in other worlds. It's just talking about pop culture. So everything is just being thrown at you all at once. Like, have you ever logged on to a website and there's just a million pop-ups popping out at you, whether it's a bunch of ads or a bunch of links to other things? Like, it's so overwhelming that you can't even read what you're trying to look for because there's a million things trying to get your attention. And your brain can only focus on maybe 3 to 4 things at a time. So if there's like 15 links and pop-ups and ads coming your way, your brain can't process all of that at once. Your brain can't read all of that. And the thing is, again, that these marketing empires are very good at what they do. They're very good at trying to capture your attention. So all of this is just curiosity provoking. All of this is either negative stuff popping out at you, or you get curious, so you start clicking on things, and then it just leads you down this like rabbit hole. It's so hard to try to get what you need from the internet and then just be able to log off, because as soon as you log on, something's there to be like, nope, I got you, you can stay, come over here in this little corner. Everything is like that nowadays. Not only that, but we're also losing the ability to be creative. Everything is just a copy and paste version of what somebody has done. I don't think I've seen anything creative in such a long time. There are a few things where I'm like, wow, that's really creative. I've never thought of that. But other than that, almost everyone is a copy and paste version of somebody else, whether it's their hairstyle. Like, look at me, I have the same haircut as Sabrina Carpenter with the current bangs. The clean girl aesthetic, like I'm wearing a brown freaking hoodie, whether it's the way that we talk, whether it's the way that our body language is, the language that we use. Everyone's just a copy and paste version of each other. And we're losing our ability to be an individual. We're losing our ability to have our own critical thinking, our own judgments, and just have creative ideas in general. We're losing that, people. Because to be creative, it requires you to sit still and just be in your own thoughts for a really long time before a great idea pops up. Because you can have multiple ideas coming through your head, but that doesn't mean that they're all really great ideas. You have to sit and be mindful of your thoughts for a really long time before you get an idea and you're like, oh, actually, I do want to do that. That's a really great idea. Let me go ahead and do that. You have to sit still for a while. And we're just losing the art of being bored. We're losing the art of being mindful. We're losing the art of just sitting and being in the peace and quiet and not having to have something in the background or something playing or doing or twiddling with our thumbs. Like we're losing that ability. Because if you are bored, you have a powerful tool that can cure that boredom, right? Cure that boredom. But in reality, all it's doing is just sucking all of your time and life out of you, because you're losing out on hours on making a living, having fun outside. There is never any reason to be bored nowadays. There's always something new happening, right? A new app being released, a new video dropped, or something to buy. Like, I don't know about you, but I haven't daydreamt in such a long time. Like, before I was able to just have daydreams about things all the time and be creative and just be able to sit with my own thoughts now I can't even stand just sitting and thinking, because a lot of negativity just like pops through. B, I get anxiety from my own thoughts. I'm an overthinker, so I choose to be on my phone as a coping mechanism rather than learning actual strategies to help me with my overthinking. And I've lost the ability to daydream. Like, I haven't daydreamed about anything in such a long time because I'm just so used to just being on my phone, finding something online to do. Whether it's me scrolling on TikTok or scrolling on Pinterest. Like, I use Pinterest a lot for my ideas, and it's like I used to be such a creative person. I can be creative. I can look at things and figure out a way on how to use it rather than looking for a solution from somebody else who's done the same thing and probably copied it from somebody else. Like, I can think for myself. I don't need the internet to think for me. And we're losing that art skill. Kids nowadays are losing that art skill, okay? They can't use a box and think of a million ways to use that box. They just look at that box and they just think, like, what do I do with it? I don't know what to do with it. Let me just log on to Roblox and play on there, or let me log on to Minecraft and play on there. They're losing the ability to get a box and crayons and make it into a rocket ship or make it into a farmer's market. Like, there's just something new happening all the time. You're losing the ability to be disciplined enough to commit to a task, commit to a project, because again, there's just something new being released all the time. We can't even enjoy the things that we have, because as soon as we buy it, by the next day something else is being released. For example, in the month of December, this month, Singapore is having a beauty event called Christmas Beauty Fiesta 2025. This event, they are launching over 200 new products and deals. So just imagine if you just bought a new moisturizer, you can't even enjoy that moisturizer because there's 150 new products sitting in this freaking beauty event that's being released that you might be enticed to use as well. And so that's how you end up hoarding a bunch of shit in your closet, how you end up having so much stuff, because again, there's just constantly new merchandise always being launched at Marshalls. There's new shipments happening every single week, so there's something you're always missing out on, and you can't enjoy the things that you have. So how is this going to impact Gen Z's future? How is this going to impact them? I am well out of my teenage years, and I still catch myself comparing to people online and thinking, wow, like, if I just have what they have, I could be happier, when I have built a really nice life for myself. But I still catch myself comparing to people who are above me and thinking, wow, they just have so much more, I just don't have enough. And I can only imagine how this is going to impact teenage girls in today's society, because if I am well out of my teenage years and I'm catching myself comparing what I have and who I am to somebody online, I can only imagine a teenage girl who is just figuring themselves out, who is just learning to have self-esteem. What can that do to them? What impacts are they going to have in their brain where they feel like they don't have enough, where they feel like they aren't enough, where they feel like they need to get fillers and change their hair color and wish that they could be taller, skinnier, plumper, or glowier, or whatever. I can only imagine the impact they're going to have, because they're being bombarded again with just so much new content at them. And I went onto Ulta's website just to see how many products there were for just glowy skin, and this is just one thing that gets marketed to teenage girls. There was 1,190 products available for you to choose from. This is absurd. Before, I was able to log on and log off from the internet, and nowadays you log on and you stay on. There's no logging off from the internet. And like I said, this is already just having an impact in schools where teachers are just frustrated with their students because they can't sit there for a long time to learn new material. They're having so many behavioral problems.
Hey, let's talk about it real quick. Let's make it make sense. I know all last week, all over social media, you saw nothing but teachers talking about how elementary and middle school kids are reading 4 years below grade level. Well, as a high school teacher, I'm here to inform you that high school kids are doing way worse. They are reading 6 years below grade level. The only difference is a whole heap of these kids are going to graduate at the end of this school year. And we are expecting them to go to college and obtain jobs when they cannot even comprehend basic skills, which is
there's so many kids with ADHD nowadays. Reading is just plummeted, math is just plummeted, parents aren't parenting like they used to. Now everything is just gentle parenting. Everything now is just an iPad kid, like you just hand them the iPad and then just call it a day. No one is parenting. Nobody is solving these problems. Nobody is helping these poor kids. We need these comprehension skills because we need to learn how to communicate with others, and we need to be able to be productive, and we can't be productive if we don't have the attention span to be productive. And we can't live a better life if all you feel is just mentally exhausted and overstimulated. Like, all you're gonna do is just feel depressed and feel more anxiety, and the more that you're gonna want to feed yourself this short form content to cure all of that. This is obviously going to impact their abilities to stay on task, to be able to complete their tasks and stay on task, because some tasks are gonna be boring. They're gonna be tedious, they're gonna be boring, they're gonna take a while, it's not gonna be done in a day, it's not gonna be done in a week. Some tasks are going to take a while for us to complete, and if we don't have the attention span, if we don't have the discipline to be able to do that, then like what are we going to end up with? A bunch of unfinished tasks, a lot of unfinished projects. Nothing is ever going to get done. This doesn't mean that we're doomed forever, because if the pendulum swings one way, the pendulum will also end up swinging the other way. Because of what's happening in today's world, there's been a rise of slow living and digital discipline. So we're not doomed forever, guys. We're not doomed forever. What is this movement? This has become a movement because of, like I said, what is happening in social media, where everything is just being thrown at you. And the rise of slow living is just a reaction to the constant mental burnout and stress that too much social media usage can cause. So people are calling this the digital detox, and it is just a desire to spend less time online and doing real hobbies like reading, like going on a bike ride, planting a garden, or having a conversation with actual real human beings rather than a comment section on a video. These practices are giving people a chance to pause the high-speed chase of going after everything new. And we're now learning to enjoy the things that we currently have, and enjoying the time that we currently have, and learning how to breathe again. Because when something is always fast-paced and is always on the go, all you're going to do is just drive up your anxiety, and the more anxiety you feel, the more you're just gonna put your body in overload and just exhaust yourself even more. What it shows is that people are having more digital discipline, whether it's learning how to log off for the day, whether it's deleting their app, or just getting a whole new phone completely that doesn't allow you to download any app.
I have absolutely changed my life in a very short period of time buying one of these old style Nokia flip phones. Oh my goodness. So I bought one of these in an effort to reduce my screen time. I was averaging 6 hours and 34 minutes a day. I was like, Jesus Christ. And then I saw a reel that said if you spend 3 hours or more on social media or whatever, by the time you get to 80, that's 10 consecutive years of your life that you've thrown in the drain. And I was literally just like, oh my God, like I do double that.
We're having the reverse effect, where people are craving that more slowed down, peaceful pace, than always being on the go. And I think we are on the right track if we can get everybody on board for that same thing. Now, whatever extremes you want to take is totally up to you. It doesn't mean that you have to change your phone completely. It doesn't mean that you have to log off. It doesn't mean that you have to delete your apps or anything like that, but just being more mindful as to how much social media usage you are consuming. Another way that slow living is making a change is going from watching short form content to now watching more long form content, whether it's podcasts or deep dive video essays or reading articles online. You can see people are wanting more longer content, even on short form content. Actually, I've watched a couple of TikToks where people in the comment section are actually craving people to make 10-minute longer videos because those 6 seconds are just not enough for them. They want to be able to sit longer with somebody. And the good thing about YouTube is that they are promoting more longer format videos where they want you to do an hour-long videos. And the great thing too is that we're having this rise of podcasts too, where you're sitting and being with somebody for a longer period of time rather than just sitting there for 6 seconds and then never knowing who they are and what they do and what their life is like because you've scrolled on to the next thing. You're actually getting to know people a lot longer. You're actually getting to know the topics that you're watching. You're gaining your attention back because you're not just being flashed a bunch of crap in your face, and you're learning something. So the rise of this movement is a great opportunity, if you're willing to join it, to learn how to get your attention span back. And there has also been a rise of this almost like quiet luxury. Quiet luxury is not this flashy of brands on your body, of whether it's like a Gucci brand or a Louis Vuitton brand or Chanel. You're not being flashed these brands logos. You're living more of a minimalistic lifestyle and quality versus quantity. You're looking for things that you can enjoy for a longer period of time rather than just chasing after trends. We are seeing more and more of this quiet luxury, and I think it's very helpful that we have this rise as well, because we're not chasing after brands, we're not chasing after logos, we're not chasing after meaningless things. We're actually looking at the tags on the back of our shirts and seeing what materials are they used. Are they using only plastic materials, or are they actually using cotton and wool and cashmere? Are they using quality materials or fabrics to use to make these garments, or are they just putting out plastic into the world and just damaging our world anymore? We're putting our money where it counts, and we're not buying a bunch of meaningless things. We're bringing in things slowly but surely and enjoying our things and wearing them, and wearing things that actually fit us and things that we can use season after season after season. So what comes next? What comes after all of this just destroying our attention span? What comes after this? What comes after is we have to continue our movement. We have to continue our need to be more digitally disciplined and learning to log off, okay? Learning to log off for the day, learning when to say enough is enough, learning to know when the day has begun. For example, this morning, I woke up, I want to say it was around like 5. First of all, I fell asleep like at 8 o'clock last night. I was exhausted. So I woke up around 5 o'clock this morning, and I scrolled on social media. I scrolled on TikTok. I love TikTok. I scrolled on TikTok for about an hour and a half, and around 6 o'clock or 6:30 is when I finally got up and I was like, let me go make myself a coffee. And I opened up all the windows in my house, and I just sat in my bed a little bit longer before I decided, okay, I'm gonna start my day now. And it was around 7 o'clock. So I got up at 7, I washed all my dishes, I ate my breakfast, I got ready for this video, and it is now almost 10 o'clock. It's 9:22 right now. And I have the rest of the day to begin my life, and I'm not stuck in my bed just doom scrolling for hours. I'm making a living. I'm finally filming a video again, and this time I'm doing a longer format. I'm gonna go outside and go have some fresh air and enjoy the outdoors. I don't want to be stuck inside a room, inside my bed, on my phone. That is not the life that I want to live. And what comes next is you need to learn how to diet that. Everything in moderation, just like any other regular diet, you need to find an alternative that can help you and feed what you're missing inside. Whether it is that connection, learn how to make friends. Whether it is having a hobby, learn to have a different hobby that requires that's fun for you. This is a chance for you to change your life around and not want to be stuck in a bed all day long. Content consumer, it is your responsibility to build routines and boundaries for yourself, because those corporations online are not going to create those boundaries for you. They're not going to create these systems built in place for you to be able to learn to log off, okay? Instagram did that once upon a time, and now they are just a profited business and just pure greed, okay? They're not going to tell you when you've finally caught up with everybody. They're going to want to keep you there. Facebook, same thing. TikTok, same thing. You know, we have, sometimes that little video, that little pop-up will show up of like, oh my god, you've been online for too long, you need to, like, it's too much screen time, you need to log off, which I appreciate that from them, but I think we're getting less and less of that now, because before I used to get it like after an hour, now it's like after multiple hours of being online, I feel like it finally pops up again. Well, I mean, I haven't been online that long to be able to get it, but if you're getting it multiple times, then take that as a marker for you to log off. You have to learn, as the responsibility is on you. We can't rely on these corporations to do what you need to do for you to have your own discipline. No one's going to build that discipline for you. You have to learn that yourself. Whether it's learning to, again, put a timer on for 15 minutes, putting in breaks for yourself throughout the day. If you really, really want to be online, put intentional breaks for yourself. Instead of consuming, if you really want to be online, instead of consuming so much short form content, try watching more long form content on things that you actually enjoy and topics that you actually want to learn more about. Give yourself the chance to regain what you once had, because if you're as old as I am, there was a time where you did have the attention span. There was a time when you did have the ability to create. There was a time where you had the ability to log off the internet and go outside and play with your friends. There was a time, and we can be able to gain that skill back if you so choose to, by having the discipline to do it. I actually recently saw a video where it showed the computers from the 90s and how the internet was just one stationary place that you would go to log on, and then once you left that space, you couldn't carry it with you, okay? It's not like our laptops where we can carry the internet around us. It's not like our smartphones where we can take it outside and outdoors. Maybe create that space again where once you go to it, you're logging onto the internet, and once you leave that space, you can't take the internet with you. Whether it's not having a laptop and maybe finding a space for you to get a desktop so that you can't carry your laptop around, you're only able to do your work on that desktop. Maybe being able to just take 1 or 2 social media apps off of your phone, so you're not tempted to just continue logging on to these multiple different apps to check up on multiple different people. It's learning to have that digital discipline, and there's so many different ways on we can do that. So if you want to learn more about this rise of slow living, I can probably make a video on it if you guys want. And just do more of a deep dive of the rise of slow living and digital discipline if you guys want to. But if you guys had stayed throughout this entire video, I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate you staying with me here. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can come back every week to watch a new video. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.